Oh, that's pretty. This is yesterday in Taunton. 12 inches of ice on Bunks Pond. Chris likes to go ice fishing. What kind of fish is that? And what's that around the sun? Ring around the sun or moon, snow or rain soon. And it began last night about 10:30, and now it's 9:30, and it's 27 degrees, and we're on the back side. Let's go measure. How'd we do with our forecast? It's kind of in a hurry Sunday. What kind of pose is that? Is that your foot? I'd like to not be in a hurry today, but we're watching the Super Bowl about a 4-hour ride away, and it's snowing, and we got to get out the door in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, Rex. I know. What? They didn't shovel you a path yet? Sorry. They slept late. Steve's going for it. All right, let me close the door. See if we can't measure it compared to Steve. And I've got this old measuring device from where I used to work. What do you think, Steve? It looks like an underachiever to me. It says 3 inches, and you're about 18 inches tall. So we only got a sixth of a Steve in the backyard where it's fairly windy, got to admit. And T-Rex wants to go in. Rex, you can't go in yet. Steve, you can't go in yet. So you got to measure it in a few different spots. We can come over to the glacier here. Try again, 3.5. And ice bucket, let's put an ice bucket and see what we got in there. About 2.5. I'll come down these steps, walk carefully, 3.5. In the garden, 4. Temperature, it says about 29. We'll melt that down in there. So definitely an underachiever here in my yard. On the front yard, I did measure 5 in a couple of spots. And it started snowing last night about 10:30. I didn't think it was going to start till 10:35. And it snowed. It's going on 10 hours. So instead of getting a 1/2 inch an hour, it looks like we got a 1/3 of an inch an hour here in southern New England. Underachiever. But Nantucket. Hey, what's for breakfast, Martin? Why is this called Dead Horse Hill? In Nantucket, it snowed 3 to 4 inches. Wow, just as much as it got here. And it did change over to some drizzle. Thank you, Blair, for that knowledge. And guess where it snowed the most? Where they said it would snow the least, farthest from the low pressure center. So there's the low going east of us. Not that strong a low, still above 1,000 millibars. 2 fronts there, one front south of us, an occlusion, purple line, and also a front north of us. That's the old Arctic front. And it snowed harder near the Arctic front. Here are the snowfall amounts. Bourne, 6 inches. That's kind of a lollipop there. Most of Cape Cod, southeastern Massachusetts, 3 to 4. And then the Boston area, very similar, 3 to 4. And then it's farther north. You go up to a line from, I don't know, about Killington, Pico. How's Pico today, Ray? And points east, it was more like 7 to 10. I think most of us were thinking that 7 to 10 would be in Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. But no, the old TK lean cold rule, I should have applied it even more, worked this morning. So that means that the moisture is wrung out better where it's colder. Here are the temperatures from this morning early, and those areas that are more like 20 degrees instead of 25 degrees. Central and north, where it was colder, got the most snow. And the wind's still gusting. What's that? Gusting past 35 at Matinicus Rock. So almost a nor'easter here. My area is coming from the northeast right now, and it is getting colder aloft. So these snowflakes may keep on going. And like I've said before, when these low pressure systems race east instead of north, the back edge of the snow takes longer to clear out. So still some room for a little bit more snow measurement around here. Let's go see the birds. Do you have any food in there, birds? It's like I gotta give you some food. What's for breakfast? Yep, I'll be getting you some breakfast. Don't you worry about a thing. And Steve and T-Rex getting all tangled up in here and wanting to go out. So this is sort of what kind of weather we're gonna have every other day here going forward. Let me put these guys back in, and we'll do the whole weather forecast. It'll be just a TK. I understand. Yeah, it's breakfast time, right? We are late. Steve is so tangled up. This will take a second. There he goes. He's untangling himself. Kind of. Good job, Steve. So you realize that taking care of the pets is part of the game when you watch the T. Kelly Out the Door, Weather and More. And I really appreciate everyone's comments yesterday sticking with me throughout that lengthy sort of weather lesson. So hopefully I don't have to teach the weather lessons, because we're going to talk about time. We're going to talk about thicknesses again, because it's all important. Let's start with the Boston. About 7-day. I'm sticking with the Canadian. The Canadian's been consistent. It's making more sense. So weather.US. You can look at every model here. And there's Boston with the clearing sky. And that solid line up there, the red line's the temperature, the blue line's the dew point. So that solid red line barely gets above freezing at all in the next week. This is anomalous cold continuing and anomalous snow. This could be the snowiest week we've had in a while. I know I've been saying that, even though this one kind of underachieved. But another snow coming in, just missing Tuesday. It's going to be close. And then on Wednesday night and Thursday, it looks like it tries to mix in the Boston area just above freezing. But inland, that'll stay snow, and points north. South will get snow to rain to snow to cold. And then it happens, the biggest storm in the next week looks like it's going to be about next Saturday or so into Sunday. And it could be about a 36-hour nor'easter. And then look at the temperature bottom out on Tuesday, the 18th. The high temperature in Boston, according to the Canadians, about 12. And that's kind of where the euro was going yesterday, but I didn't believe it. But now the Canadians saying it. So should we look at the play-by-play? How about the play-by-play first on the NAM high resolution, 3 kilometer. I'm going to use the fresh one just off the presses because I slept late. And this starts at 13Z, 14Z, 15Z is 10 a.m. The snow is departing slowly in eastern Massachusetts. Cape Cod could have snowflakes in the air right through sunset, really. Cold air coming in. That 510 line across northern New England, kind of flat, fast flow. At 510, though, that's the Arctic boundary with a wave coming along it with some snow showers or squalls near the Canadian border today and tonight. And that's a push of colder air coming at northern New England with a front separate from warmer air trying to come at us from the south. Another high pressure goes offshore here on Monday night, Tuesday. And the backside, there's that snow trying to press in from the north and the south. But I think the one from the north is probably going to win, with the most snow happening up around Mount Mansfield, Mount Washington. And then we're going to have another high come in here, and then it's the backside of that one. On Thursday, it snows again. So have I mentioned that today is day 40 in a row of New England snow? Yeah, that's right. I'm in from the north. Where's the sun? I feel like the sun's trying to come out. All right, so I couldn't even see out this window last night. I don't know why. Snow didn't really stick to the house, but it stuck to the windows. It's fairly dry snow, fluffy snow. So I think it's the first time we've had just snow here in Weymouth without any rain or above freezing in a long time. Let's go to the Canadian Pivotal Weather. You can get this for free, pivotalweather.com, and watch the next 10 days, 240 hours. And there's our low departing to the east, high pressure's coming in, front near northern New England, a front off to the south, snow showers. Tomorrow will be day 41 in a row, snow, and then Tuesday, that snow looks more like for New Jersey than New England, but that still could lift north. See, what's happening is you get a separate flow. That northern stream has another front coming through here in northern New England, snow Tuesday, and it looks like they're not going to connect. And so, like we said yesterday, the polar stream and the subtropical stream and the Arctic stream. And then it looks like backside of the Wednesday high, here comes the snow Wednesday night, and this low it looks a little stronger than last night, and there is weak high pressure to our north, but it's fairly fast, fairly flat wave. So we're going to have to back off what looked like maybe a foot of snow for a lot of New England to call it several inches to maybe double digits on Thursday. And then Friday is windy and cold. Valentine's Day, a lot like yesterday with the wind, but wait a minute, 2 days ago, Friday, it's Sunday, right? And that's cold. And then on Saturday, the backside of that, wind lets up, and here comes the more powerful storm, and all the guidance has this, but it's definitely looking weaker but lengthy. Weaker than some of the guidance has a real deep low pressure, but this one has kind of weak waves of low pressure, strong high to our north, ensures nor'easter type conditions here next Saturday night into Sunday, and then that lingers into early Monday, so that could be more than a 36-hour system. So that will be our foot plus for a lot of New England, but with a mixed threat at the south coast, which would be just kind of cementifying your ground cover of slush here on Monday night and Tuesday. I got to stop at 1 a.m. Monday night, Tuesday morning. This is now February 18th, and that 1044 high over the northern plains, southern Canada, means business. That's a powerful high, and look at the blue numbers there. We have a 486 Reed polar vortex over New York on pre-dawn Tuesday, February 18th. And then I can just slide that back into motion, and not much changes. Very cold and windy here Tuesday, threatening to be the coldest day of the winter. It's getting kind of late in the season to have coldest days of the winter after February 15th, but this is a very interesting winter, isn't it? So yeah, traveling north today, I gotta go, and I wanna go skiing this week. And it looks like a pretty good week for skiing, don't you say? Here's the coast to coast snow from the Canadian, which I actually forgot to look at, but I'm sure that the purples are showing up here in New England. And then if you get that salmon color, I don't even know, but I think it's probably in there somewhere around Mount Mansfield. What a coincidence, where am I going? And it just keeps coming and coming. So this is gonna be, I think, week 17 in a row of coast to coast North America snow. And we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned winter, don't we? That's not really what we forecast. All right, to end more, it was such a busy day yesterday, watching the sky fill with ice crystals and the halo phenomena, and just wondering when it was going to start snowing. And I had a lot of things to do yesterday, including go to the Blue Hill Observatory and host some tours there, get up on the roof. Great group of people, fun to see everybody, too many people to name, but it was our first collaboration of the Blue Hill Observatory and the Mount Washington Observatory coming together. A lot of people came from far northern New England to visit us. That was great. And there was a book signing by Gagne. He's written 3 books about mostly the mountains of New England, and his latest is The Lions of Winter, and it's about the perils of trying to hike Mount Washington in the wintertime. And he told a real lengthy, interesting, fascinating, but gut-wrenching story about a rescue back in 1982, I think it was. And one of the rescuers lost his lives. So everyone involved with that, their life has been changed. So you might want to get that book, Lions of Winter. I don't have time to edit and show all that he said, but it was riveting. I'll just say that. So some lengthy and more, and tomorrow we're going to go out a different door than where we are today, but it's going to be snowy and cold, and there'll be a big mountain there. So,
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, and I actually stopped for a half hour to try and teach a couple people how to ski. Tried to tell them the difference between the pizza and the French fries, and I hope you made it down. All right, here's the end more. Oh, wait, one more thing. What are you doing? And what are you doing? Why didn't you come out and finish that with me? And more, and more. 11 a.m. update, just publishing our Saturday out the door, and I'm getting some and more for our Sunday with the still water. And what are those shaped like geese? Do I have snow geese on the Fore River? Possibly swans? Seen those here before, or if I have, I've forgotten. Probably gonna get a halo around the sun here today. Ring around the sun or moon, snow or rain soon. Why don't we go to the top of the Blue Hill Observatory and discuss it in further depth with all the weather instruments? Yeah, let's do that. It's right over there, right through those pussy willows. More snow on the ground Weymouth than there is here at the base of the Great Blue Hill. I bet there's some snow up there, though. William F. Rogers, the ski area. Blue Hill Reservation. Entering Milton. Canton-Milton line. Looks like the parking lot is full. Great news. See? Snow. There it is. Always different on the north side, north-facing side. It's a refrigerator this time of year. Little back country, yeah. Snow sky for sure.
The last day that we have a full thaw of the season, so we can see that period, and that period, as you can probably imagine, is shortening. So it is freezing later in the season, it is thawing earlier, but it has to be fully frozen in order for that to count.
What he was just saying, because what happens is as snow falls into that can, wind will whip around inside of it and create like a whirlwind effect sometimes and cause a centrifugal force of the snow towards the outside. So by taking 10 measurements that we think best represents the can, we can get...
Here on top of the Blue Hill Observatory, where it's a sub-zero wind chill, but everyone's being so nice and they're all smiling. Thank you all for coming. This is so fun. All right, on to the next stop. Hey Tyler, guess where I am? Where we saw each other last, and I got the snow stick with me, so let's do a little measurement. Missing you today. Talk to you again soon. It's called the waxing snow moon. Okay, just past 4 o'clock up here on the top of the Great Blue Hill at the observatory. And you know what's really rare? That you can take a 4-foot metal measuring device and stick it into the snow and have it stand up straight by itself. Because it's not really snow, it's ice. Look at that, 1.3 inch snow depth now. Let's see if we can't get this to maybe 3 feet, 2 feet within a couple of weeks. So now we're going down the hill and we're going to hear about a man that wrote the book about the perils of climbing Mount Washington in the wintertime. It's called the yard sale. And you leave all your gear in the yard. Now, I'm not going to walk all the way down there, but it was really intimidating the first time I ever came here. And right at that edge, right over there, you couldn't see over the edge until you got there.
Try to stay on the side.
And more and more and more. The name of the book is Lions of Winter. Ty Gagne wrote it about his experience surviving a summit in 1985. And it's the first collaborative meeting with both the Mount Washington and the Blue Hill Observatory. Friends, family, and staff. So a couple of bits from Ty and the audience here at this beautiful Meditech with the anthropogenic cloud going overhead. Hopefully the people I just tried to help coach there at Blue Hill learned how to do the pizza wedge and made it home or down safely. Never a dull moment. And more and more and more. And time lapse from Weymouth. And some geese. What happens if I walk towards these geese? I didn't even know they were here. We'll be foraging right here through the snow tomorrow, which is now today, because it's more and more and more from yesterday. That's the chill geese.
Really has such a huge lasting impact on search and rescue in the White Mountains of New Hampshire that continues on today. So I'd just like to thank you. We're going to move to Q&A. Before we do that, I just want to again recognize Mount Washington Observatory in Blue Hills. If you are a member of either or both, thank you so much. If you're not, please consider joining, because that higher summits forecast that we all use toward mountain safety, it does not sit behind a paywall. That is created by people like Ryan, and it's accessible to us, and one of the greatest ways you can support their work is to join as a member or to consider a gift. So thank you for being here, and at this point,